To get what you've never gotten means you have to do something you've never done. This is such a simple concept to say, but it's on another level to actually understand it and implement it into your life. So, with respect to barbers, um, what I want to do in this video is really is this is just a message to for my former self and to anybody who's out there. Either you're just getting started or you feel like you're stuck and you're not where you want to be in this industry, then this message is for you. It, the idea is, in order to get to where you want to be, assuming that you're not happy where you're at. If you're happy where you're at, cool. You can stop the video right now, move on. There's lots of other things on YouTube. But if you're like me and you're not satisfied with where you are in your career, how much you make, whatever. It doesn't even have to be like your career. Let's say you want to lose weight, whatever, right? You have to be willing to kill the old version of yourself. Um, as harsh as that might sound, the habits that you've been doing have gotten you to where you are. And if you want to go beyond, then that's going to have to require that you leave something behind or someone behind. If you have people in your life that are holding you back, it might be time to have a hard conversation or two. So, I like to think of it as like a rocket analogy. Let's say if Elon Musk is trying to put a rocket in outer space, um, typically they do these things in stages, right? And that's usually because it takes so much energy to launch something off the earth and get it into space that the most of the rocket is just fuel to get to space. But they can't get the whole thing to space. In order to get to that last outer boundary, they have to dump that booster stage in a lot of cases, and that falls back to Earth, and then the rest of the rocket goes off into space. And so I think that trying to improve yourself is a lot like that. In order for you to get to the next level, you have to leave something behind. There has to be a sacrifice. You can't just keep doing the same things and expect a new result. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But a lot of us do the same things over and over again and are wondering why. And I'm no exception to this. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm perfect. Like, I still work on these things too. But the reality is I see a lot of barbers that say they want to make more. But the actions don't line up with that. And I try to push them outside of the comfort zone, and they don't want to go, right? And in a lot of ways I see that as my job, to push people, because human beings aren't built for success. We are built to survive. We are working off old software. We are not built for the modern times that's why a very small percentage of people ever become business owners, because it's not wired in us to keep pushing once you've got enough. Very few people do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do want to have more than what you currently have, that's going to mean that you have to stop doing some things and start doing new things. So with respect to barbers, if you're not happy with what you're making, something's got to change, right? You either need to raise your prices, you need to cut faster, you need to pick up more hours. You need to figure out how to sell products. You need to figure out how to upsell services. I mean, work on your customer service so you can get better tips. There's a lot of ways to make more money without doing like drastic changes, like leaving the shop where you're at, because maybe you're in the right spot, but you're not utilizing the opportunity that you have right now. Now, if you don't have, I would say if you're, not doing at least, 20, 30, 40 haircuts a week, then it may be time to reevaluate where you are, because you might not have enough opportunities to actually earn more. But if you're there, then you've got enough. You've got enough to become fully booked within a few months. And if you're not, if you've been somewhere where you're not fully booked and you've been there for more than a few months, then it's a retention problem. You're not retaining the clients, which again leads back to something's got to change. And a lot of barbers, we like to go to hair shows. If you're not, you should. You like to invest in tools, but I don't see a lot of barbers investing in like the other things like customer service, training, books. A really good one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you want to learn how to talk to people, if you're introverted like me and you struggle with talking to people, that book will help you out. But something's got to change, right? Otherwise, you are going to stay where you are, and you're going to be wondering why everybody else is passing you by. It's because they changed. They did something different, right? So if you want the same things as they want, or if you just want something, period, right? It's kind of like if you want to lose weight, but it's like, I don't want to stop eating ice cream. Um, Maybe you can do it, but you got to change something, right? Maybe you can keep the ice cream, but you got to take the calories away from something else, because otherwise you're going to not lose any weight and you might even gain more weight. So, in order for you to make a change anywhere in your life, whether it's work, personal, relationships, right? You got to change something. You got to be willing to change. Because if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. Because I constantly get pushback from barbers that they want to make more money, but they don't want to cut faster, or they don't want to sell product. And it's like, do you really want to make more money then? Because I used to think that people really weren't motivated by money. I have a little bit of a different belief on that now, which is that I think people just want to make more without doing more work. Because people will take more money. If I said to all my barbers, hey, I'm giving you guys a raise, none of them would complain. None of them would fight me on it. But if I said, hey, I'm willing to give you more, but I'm going to need this in exchange, that's when I might get some resistance, right? Because everybody's willing to take more money as long as it doesn't mean more work. So very few people are willing to actually step up and be like, when I offer them a raise, they're like, what do you need from me in order to make that possible? Very few, right? Um, so just think about that. If you're looking to make more money, you got to change something. You got to get better. And it's one of the things that we had in our recent meeting, but skills usually precede rise in income, right? So if you want to make more money and you're not there yet, that usually means there's a skill gap. There is a skill that you need to learn or perfect. Maybe you started it, but you haven't quite perfected it yet. Once you develop that skill, the money follows. So money follows skill. And to the degree that you've mastered that skill will determine how much you make. Because ultimately, we're all compensated based on our skills and the problem that we're solving. So if you're doing a haircut, for cheaper clients that are spending $10-15, that's your skill level, right? But if you want to serve higher end clients that are willing to spend 30, 40, 50 or more on their haircut, that's going to require some new skills that you learn. And you can get there. We can all do it. But the first step is just realizing that you're not where you want to be just because there's something in your mind holding you back, some habit, something that you're refusing to give up. And a lot of times it's as simple as just deciding, starting today, I'm not that person anymore. I'm going to cut faster. I'm going to sell more products. I'm going to try to build a bond with my clients. And if you don't want to do that, then that's okay. But you are forfeiting your right to complain, in my opinion. If somebody has shown you the way on how to make more money, so now it's not an ignorance problem. You know now how to do it, but it's just a matter of, even though you're still not doing it. So then you really don't want to make more money, is what you're saying. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you're wanting to join my free group where we talk about things like this and more and get access to free training, I'm going to put a link down in the description below, and I hope to see you there.